You know, there's no real incentive for people to be good or even decent. And in all my time of moving around and living in different houses, apartments, all that, you know, for a certain time, there was like no problems. Everything was cool. And then they started happening like at a certain point where maybe it's the area, the different areas that I had moved to or what. But, and maybe that could be it because now that I think about it, technically I probably ended up moving deeper into the city each time. And that probably, yeah, that must have been it. Because the other places that I lived in were not really city places. Like maybe some places were like suburb like, but they weren't, they were like slower paced places. And there was even like a time when I lived in like a desert. And maybe there's like one other time where I was like kind of lived in the city, but it wasn't necessarily horrible. It was just kind of like, eh. But that, I think that time was around when I was a kid or something. Anyway, but at a certain point, it's just stuff was just going downhill constant. Like, it just seems like, obviously, I have to get out of the state that I'm in. I gotta, like, move far, far away. Uh, and, because this shit is terrible. It's like every apartment I come to, there's some kind of just the maintenance people are, it's their job is not really to fix anything. Their job is to invade your space as much as possible so that you feel like this is not a place where you can live and like this is not, your place. It's like they want to remind you of that constantly. And I've been at an apartment place just like this before, where they just, I don't know why people are like this. Well, I actually know I do. It's because people are shit, and that's the only thing they know how to do. But yeah, it just earlier today I was like a little optimistic because I was like, oh, maybe they'll fix the fucking thing. But also, I didn't like how, because I was sick of it after like the first fucking guy came through unscheduled, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then another dude comes. I don't even open the fucking door. I'm like, fuck this guy. I don't feel like dealing with any more people. Then this motherfucker busts out the master key and just lets himself in. Watch me have a fucking legal battle or something going on. So, and then they act like, oh, we're really gonna get this fixed, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Why? Like, these motherfuckers all of a sudden like super motivated enough to just let themselves in. Yeah, I'm never gonna live in another apartment after this. I never really liked apartments. It's just shit goes downhill, and there's times in life where you may get a sizable amount of money, but the problem is that you don't know what to do with it, and you only learn what to do with it later when you no longer have the money. And yeah, that's basically my problem. So now I have to acquire money again, and then now I know what to do with it. But it's just, God, so many things have happened throughout life, and I don't, dude, like, even to this day, I still regret, like, staying on this earth. I could have checked out a long time ago. And I just knew, I knew at that time, I was like, if I don't do it now, I'm going to fucking regret it later. And look where I fucking am now. You know, even if I, you know, get the necessary resources and go on my way to better pastures or whatever, and, you know, travel to some places and do some things and maybe meet some suitable or okay people. Fuck. I still think that I think that there's nothing in existence that could ever make me feel like, oh, I'm glad I didn't off myself before. No, it's just, I'm sure it's just gonna be like this everywhere. Someone's trying to get at you for something everywhere you fucking go. And then eventually, because if you're around people too long, you just become a feral fucking animal just like the rest of them. Because being paranoid about everything around you and everyone you come in contact with eventually just makes you go insane. And eventually you're just like attacking everybody. I've seen like so many people that were like that, where as soon as they meet anyone, they're just already foaming at the mouth. It's fucking depressing. And it just seems like now it could simply just be like, you know, the city thing. Maybe if you get out to places that are, because there's places that are like noticeably different. Certain places where you go there and like the air is different, everything feels slower, and but when you're near the city or in the city, the air is like, it's weird. It feels like it's just like, maybe you could say like it's moving at a quicker pace. Like just the atmosphere is like, it could be that it's a lot of anxiety ridden people or people with this negative emotion all in the same place, and that creates the atmosphere. Like everyone's just radiating bad energy, and it just makes it so that the air is different. Because if you go out to somewhere that's like, you know, far away from the city, that's maybe like a, you know, more spread out area where stuff isn't as congested or smashed together, like the people be different, the air's different. It's a lot nicer. I've been to a place like that before. It was pretty great. It was in the desert though. I don't like the desert. If I could live anywhere, I'd live in probably a place where it rained a lot, snowed. I like cold places. I think in a place where it's cold, I wonder if people act better in cold areas because I mean it would make sense that people like wouldn't be as I think that there's certain areas where there'd be more activity from people, obviously in hotter areas. And then in the colder areas, people probably wouldn't be as active or maybe not as prone to like acting stupid or crazy. But this is why I always hated like living in hotter areas because it just seems like there's just nothing but terrible people. Like you have to go really out of your way and find a place that's drastically different. And yeah, it just I want to change my life so it's not shit, but I have no. You know when you want something to be different and you're willing to change it, but you just don't have the you don't have like anything in you to deal with whatever bullshit that you might encounter to make it happen. Where you'd like it to happen, but you'd like it to happen in like a certain kind of way. And I think it's just I'm just tired, man. I'm so fucking tired. I've been seeing the same shit my whole fucking life. People never change. And it's just everywhere. And it's stuff like this that makes you depressed. And you kind of just lose the will to fight or do anything. And eventually it's just, you probably just check out one day. It's just everyone's trying, it just seems like everyone's trying to kill you. And people act like that's a normal occurrence. But, well, I mean, if you think about nature's pretty vicious. But I think humans are at times a bit different just because there's places that people just generally have better dispositions, and it's due to the area. And it's like people are different in different places. So the area that you're in would determine how the people are. Like if you're in fucking Skid Row or some shit, or fucking LA or whatever, obviously it's going to be a horrifically shit time. But if you're in like, a place that's some pretty spread out desert town or something, maybe the people wouldn't be as vicious. I don't really. There's only been like a few places, maybe one or two that I've ever been to, where the people were like friendly. Well, I don't know. I feel like even when you go into friendly places, there's people that are like, you just get weird fucking interactions where you're just like, I don't know why the fuck this guy started talking to me. We clearly have nothing in common. And then you just like weirdly go your separate ways, and it's just a weird fucking experience. And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? I think all of this was like engineered specifically to be the way that it is. Because why the hell would you ever make cities unless you wanted people to have a bad time? All these people smashed together, and the only thing they know how to do is act like animals. Yeah, it's just, I'm so fucking tired of it, man. You know, I should be more aggro. That requires energy, though. If I'm more aggro, then, well, actually, if I was more aggro in earlier parts of my life, I would have probably felt better about a lot of things. Now it's just, I just want to get as far away from people as possible. Like I always wanted to do that. Actually, I hate being around people. It's always the same shit. It's always someone's trying to fight you. Someone's trying to do something fucked up to you all the time. And I think people just love conflict. Like it's for some weird reason. That's like like everyone you meet in the city is just. It's rare that you find people that aren't like that. But most people, their whole life is they just wake up and they're just like, who am I going to fuck with today? And they're just always looking for opportunities. Maybe that's why that fucking maintenance guy was so eager to fix the fucking problem. Because he's a weird fucking guy too. Like, I think he had was it a 007 ringtone? I thought it was Perfect Dark at first, and then I was like, no, that's probably 007. And then he just like, I don't know if he's trying to make conversation or if he just had really crazy ADD or whatever the fuck. ADD is the hyperactive one, isn't it? Yeah, whichever one's the hyperactive one. This guy was like really fucking hyperactive. Like he didn't get his fix of something. And he's just an odd fucking guy. And I'm like, God. I'm. Oh, well, I probably should include this in another crash out or something, but I'll just put it here. So apparently, there's this one day where like I was on this like crazy like fucking conspiracy trip, and that I got into because I was like learning more about like just what's going on in the world and getting more paranoid about it and stuff. Now I just don't give a fuck. It's nothing really changed. You just know worse things about what's going on. And yeah. and it's not even really conspiracy because it's true shit. But and then I tried to I went and tried out Catholicism. I was never really a religious guy. I hated religion, and because the shit that I've seen people do, and you'd have to show me a miracle for me to actually believe that God existed. And there was one time where I think a miracle happened. And I'm kind of not entirely sure, but I think a miracle happened where it was like I was at school or something, or it was like when I was a kid or something, maybe middle school or something before that. And I was about to go home, and I was like climbing some hill, and I slid down the hill, ripped my hand open, like big fucking hole in my hand. Like you could see into it, but it was weird because you could see blue and white, and I'm like, is that bone? And why is it blue on the inside? Shouldn't it be like red, bloody meat or something? And then like a second later, I looked back at it. It was all closed up. It was just a little scratched up, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. So, you could probably say, oh, that's a miracle or something. But I actually have no idea where the miracle came from. I tried praying. I tried the Catholicism thing recently. At first, I felt like I actually felt something. Like, oh man, I just feel better in like quite a few different ways. Like I actually got the blessing and stuff. And then I don't know, something specific made me just fall off hard. Like I was getting really into this stuff, learning all about the Catholic faith and everything, and I just fell off so fucking hard. And I see, the thing is it kind of unnerved me a bit. But when I fell off, it felt like I had gone straight into where I've always been, where I didn't trust any religion. I thought it was just people trying to get over on you in some way, or people trying to justify some heinous shit that they're doing, because that's all I've ever seen from religion. Sure, there's some people that maybe they're friendly and they're a part of religion, but from the shit I've seen, the abuses of power, the really just like fucked up things people do in religion, it's just, I can't do it. Even this thing where it's like, oh, you can have a relationship with God. It could just be you and God and stuff. And I'm like, I can't separate. I don't even know. I don't even know if I can believe enough. But also, I can't separate what I've seen from the individual experience you're supposed to have. And it's, what am I, everything is just people to me. I don't really see anything else going on. It's all just people being people. And I could never delude myself into being religious. I think that you really have to believe like hardcore in order to actually commit, because I wouldn't want to be a fake Christian and be one of those people that goes to like church or something or mass on Sunday and then says they're a Christian but goes out and does heinous shit, is like racist and does all kinds of, like, I don't want to be a hypocritical Christian. Or like, I wouldn't be a hypocritical Christian, but I just, if I'm going to be something, I want to be it 100%. I don't want to, it's because there's so many laws to follow. Obviously, the 10 Commandments are really the only ones that matter, but there's so much extra stuff that they put in there, and it's like there's some really extreme stuff in some of those cases, and I'm just like, this is, to a certain point, it sounds like, when I was just reading through, I got this book. I think it was one of the bishops had wrote it. It was called Credo, and I was just learning about Catholic stuff, and from reading it just seemed like it was almost the same thing again that I've seen before in other places, where it's like you basically have to police yourself and constantly worship God, and then your life is improved. And man, I'm just having trouble fucking existing. I can't add another fucking layer of now I gotta not do certain things, or not or watch out for like, it's, man, I'm just trying to live, man. I don't have the energy for all this extra stuff. If I can't do like a small thing that helps me get through fucking life, and it just makes life harder, I'm just like, dude, I don't want to subtract things from my life, let's say vices or whatever. And I'm not like a big vice person or nothing. Like, I'm not engaging in no crazy shit on no, like, I mean, like, just the usual, like, your everyday, not every day, probably, well, I'm not like hardcore into really anything. I'm not doing no crazy shit. But I'm like, man, I can't subtract more shit. I already live minimalistically, and there's like nothing in my life. I have nothing. I guess you could say, like, emotionally, or yeah, soon it'll probably be mentally, because I'll probably just go fucking insane from all the crazy people I've come in contact with. At first I thought, maybe Catholicism might be a bit helpful. Maybe it might be one of those things that I really needed, because, for whatever reason, spirituality has been like a part of humans since like they lived in villages. But the thing is that it made sense then, because you had your shaman. If you have a problem, you go to the shaman like mixes something for you, or helps you in some way. But now it's like you have shit like therapists, which are a joke. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Their therapists are really just fucking scammers, and they don't give a fuck about anything. That's my experience. And I thought it was weird that there was this weird trend of, therapy being peddled to everyone as if they can fix your fucking brain when humans don't even know fuck all about the brain. You could get into a whole extra thing about that, about it being an overarching evil of some kind and whatever the fuck. But basically, shamans and priests, I think, are usually who you'd want to go to for things. Like if you needed guidance or some kind of like help spiritually. Even then, I'm like, I don't know about priests, but it would be interesting to meet a shaman. I feel like meeting a shaman would make more sense because they'd be more in touch with nature. And modern religions and anything related to a church or something like that it's very far removed from nature. And I think that if you are actually spiritual, you'd probably have something to do with nature, because it doesn't seem to make sense why you wouldn't. Nature is such a large part of everything. It is everything. Well, God. Um, Maybe I can. I don't know, man. It just seems like shit just keeps going downhill. Like it only goes down. I'll try to reverse the flow if I can. But we'll see what happens.